Proving you've been vaccinated will be vital, and tech companies are designing ways to show it. Jolene Kent has more on that.
With vaccines on the horizon, new health apps are springing to life. IBM and Clear, the tech company known for expediting security screenings at airports, are both creating new apps to take in real-time vaccination information. They could eventually be used for admission to concerts and live sports.
So here's how it works. The app gives you a health pass to show before you go into big stadiums like this, to streamline the process, to make it safer and faster for you to get to your seat.
It'll flash green if your health information meets requirements.
A stadium or a venue would not see your personal health data. Everything is opt-in and you control your information.
But how much information will Clear have, even though the stadium may only see the green?
It's a secure identity platform. We don't hold your health data.
The LA Football Club, a Major League Soccer team, says Health Pass is part of their reopening plan next year.
How much do you need technology like this to be able to fill these seats again?
It's going to be a must. It's an expectation of government officials that ultimately will decide when and how we can bring fans back. We also want to know that when we get up to go to a concession stand, when we walk into the team store, that the other people that came through the gates and are here with us are also safe.
For live events, Ticketmaster is exploring several options, including a smartphone verification system for vaccination status and negative tests. The Australian government has also said it may require proof of vaccination in the future for entry into the country. A glimpse into a vaccinated future and a new normal.
The CDC says those who get the shot will be issued a vaccination card. Officials say the goal is getting the second dose on schedule. Stephanie Whitfield explains as part of our new series on vaccines called The Best Shot.
Meg, let's bring you in here as someone who really knows the business of vaccines. What can we realistically expect once the immunization process actually starts? And I'm hearing there's talk about a vaccine passport. What is that?
Yeah, so this is this kind of futuristic idea where we actually have a requirement to get a certificate of vaccination before we can do things. So as Dr. Gupta was talking about, it's going to be a while before most of us can get a vaccine. It's going to be the most high-risk groups at the beginning because of limited supply. And then folks like Dr. Fauci are talking about spring and summer for everybody really being able to get access. And so then what does life start to look like? Do we have to have that certificate of vaccination before getting on a cruise ship or getting on a plane, for example? Experts I've talked with say that is a possibility. But what about like going to concerts or going to a restaurant? Would you need a certificate of vaccination to do that? That might be less likely, but companies like Ticketmaster are already thinking about ideas like that. Could they have a technology, for example, to link your concert ticket to proof that you've been vaccinated? So these are the kinds of things that are getting talked about. None of it is set in stone yet, but experts are saying we should think about these things, what life is going to be like with vaccines. And they are warning that even as more of us get vaccinated, we're still going to have to wear masks and socially distance for a lot of next year.
Health Canada is expected to approve the Pfizer vaccine this week, so just in a short matter of time. Polls suggest the majority of Canadians will in fact roll up their sleeves, but some will not. And at least one province, Ontario, says anyone who does not will likely face ongoing restrictions while the rest of the population gets back to sort of normal life, Laura. Laura McQuillan I'm referring to, looking at Ontario's plan as the health minister announced yesterday.
Yeah, some kind of a card that you would carry that proves you've had your 2 shots of the vaccine. Could be 1 shot if it is a 1-shot vaccine, but most look like they will be 2. So once you're fully immunised, you'd have what's been described as a vaccination card, vaccination passport. You'd take it when you go to do things that you can't currently do. Once those businesses or places reopen, Health Minister Christine Elliott gave some more details yesterday on just how it might work and where those restrictions might lift for you if you can prove you've been vaccinated.
It's going to be really important for people to have for travel purposes, perhaps for work purposes, for going to theaters or cinemas or any other places where people will be in closer physical contact when we get through the worst of the pandemic. So yes, that will be essential for people to have that.
So not mandatory to get the shot, but if you don't get it, you might be opting out of those things that this card enables you to do. As you mentioned, as you heard her mention there, jobs, that could be a field such as healthcare, such as being a teacher. You might need to prove that you've been vaccinated because you have that contact with people, but it's not yet clear what power employers would have to require you to prove this. School kids might be another group that need to carry the card, visitors to long-term care homes. Keep in mind it could be another year before everyone gets vaccinated, but already experts are looking at this. And I thought the response that we got from Dr. Samir Gupta, he spoke to us last hour, was quite interesting because he said it's not really the be-all and end-all to get one of these cards. You could be fully vaccinated, you could have this card that lets you get into some places, but you would still need to follow those public health measures that we're currently seeing, such as wearing masks, the hygiene measures like distancing. Take a listen to more of what he told us.
Practically, having that immunity certificate doesn't change much in terms of my behavior, unless and until you get to a critical mass of people in the population where you can envision only people with the certificate, only people who've been vaccinated, being able to congregate in certain settings like restaurants, movie theaters, etc. So until we have a significant number of people who've been vaccinated, it's not practically meaningful because people who are mixed in with the rest of the population will still need to undertake those precautions that we're having today.
So you really need to hit a critical mass point to make it worthwhile there for this card, at least. The other challenge, of course, making sure people do get that second dose of a vaccine if it is a 2-dose vaccine. We heard a little bit more from the Health Minister, Christine Elliott, on that front. She was saying that Ontario's looking at new technology, looking at new ways to make sure everyone does get that second shot, including how to follow up with them, to give them a call, a text message to say, hey, it's time for your second dose. So expect more details on that as Ontario works on its logistics, Heather, but certainly a lot of planning going into this idea of a card as well, which is proving a little controversial online with people as well.